What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the corner, and we've got some interesting, spicy news from everybody's favorite Aqua character, AH. You know, she who shall not be named on YouTube, protected by every major media outlet, as you're not allowed to criticize or you're not allowed to even make videos about. So I greatly appreciate everybody hanging out, leaving a like on the video, sharing it, and being subscribed. Looks like there is a potential investigation, an FBI-backed one, over perjury. Yikes. And it's interesting that it's all coming up now. It's interesting that suddenly the FBI cares. Now, a lot of people have asked, why don't I like AH? It's not that I have any direct problem with her. She seems like you're pretty run-of-the-mill garbage Hollywood person. But she also wrote a little article, a little expose, a little piece that destroyed the career of Johnny Depp. And while I would have said it was fair to let both of them sink, the reason I care is because only one of them did. And that was, of course, Johnny Depp being forced to litigate a $50 million defamation case in Fairfax County after losing another case against a newspaper that called him horrible things. Now, this goes all the way back now to 2015. Actress AH was charged with bringing then-husband's JD's 2 Yorkshire Terriers into Australia illegally. The case was closed back then, but now AH is being investigated for committing perjury during the incident. Uh-oh. It's almost like these Hollywood people think they're above the law and they can just do whatever they want because, well, that's what happens. They weren't allowed to bring the dogs in. And I remember they had to do this weird, anti-bring your dogs into Australia ad. That was really bizarre as part of their settlement or whatever. The claims came out during the new JD's libel suit last year against a British tabloid. During that case, JD's former estate manager testified that AH asked him to lie under oath after she was charged with bringing the dogs to Australia. As E! News reported, AH did not obtain a permit for the dogs prior to bringing them into the country on a private jet and without having them quarantined for 2 weeks. Because Hollywood actors and actresses, they live by a different set of rules. They do what they want, while us plebs, we have to follow the rules. What a stupid thing to potentially ruin your career over. What a stupid thing. After Australia's agriculture minister threatened to have the dogs euthanized unless they buggered off back to the United States, JD and AH had the dogs flown back again on a private jet. Boy, it must be nice. E! News reported facing the prospect of a 10-year max prison sentence. The actress pled guilty to a lesser charge of falsifying a travel document to sneak the dogs in. Her lawyer told the court the actress was jet-lagged and worried about the hand injury that JD suffered while filming Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales, and believed her assistant had sorted out the paperwork for the dogs. I don't believe that. In April 2016, Heard agreed to a 1-month, $1,000 good behavior bond, according to Yahoo. She filed for divorce 1 month later. She's now being investigated for potential perjury during that case when JD sued AH and the British tabloid for defamation, claiming he was a terrible thing. JD's former estate manager, Kevin Murphy, testified that AH asked him to claim she didn't know she couldn't bring the dogs into the country. Zoinks! That's like from the Chappelle sketch. Oh, I'm sorry, officer. I didn't know I couldn't do that. She wanted me to essentially say that it was my fault in one way or another, that the paperwork wasn't completed, so that I could take the blame for her, Murphy said. Murphy also claimed that AH told him, I want your help on this. I wouldn't want you to have a problem with your job. So she threatened to fire him if he didn't lie. Not very superhero-y. On cross-examination, Murphy was asked why he didn't have JD come to his defense at the time, and Murphy said because AH wielded a lot of power and would have made their life miserable. Australia's Department of Agriculture, Water and Environment are reportedly reopening the investigation into AH and even asking the FBI to help find witnesses, though the FBI has not confirmed this. As the Daily Wire previously reported, JD lost his libel suit against the British tabloid, but still has a case pending in Virginia. In the United Kingdom, a judge determined that Depp had done bad things, and I don't disagree. I mean, I'm sure that he did. I'm sure that she did. That's been my position from the start. He lost his case in large part due to the difficulties in proving libel cases. Depp had to prove that he didn't do it. Essentially, he had to prove a negative. And while a judge in the UK acknowledged that Depp was able to cast doubt on at least 2 of her claims, he failed to disprove the other 12. JD's attorney called the ruling perverse and bewildering, pointing out the mountain of evidence the judge appeared to have ignored in arriving at his decision. Most troubling was the judge's reliance on the testimony of AH and corresponding disregard of the mountain of counter evidence from the PD, medical practitioners, her own former assistant, other unchallenged witnesses, an array of documentary evidence which completely undermined the claims, point by point. All of this was overlooked, said JD's attorney, Jenny Afia. The judgment is so flawed that it would be ridiculous for JD to not appeal this decision. Well, yeah, as long as he's flipping the bill, no lawyer is going to tell you not to litigate. Not when they can, make large, huge, massive sums of money. That's just not the way lawyers are going to advise you. Now, it's going to be interesting to watch this case kind of shake out, because I don't know, what does this mean? Probably nothing. Although it seems like Australia did want to kind of put the screws to her. Australia did kind of want to go after her. And you see inside the magic, after new claims were revealed, AH faces FBI-backed perjury investigation. They really are digging deep, aren't they? From 6 years ago. I personally believe very strongly that AH did, in fact, basically push an employee to lie for her. Now, my guess is that employee will receive a anonymous donation in their bank account and will suddenly become uncooperative. Because the 10 years for the dogs is actually, a legitimate thing to be worried about, a legitimate thing to be scared about. The idea that you would lie under oath, though, that person would also be potentially facing some issues. I don't think that any amount of negative press is going to derail someone who, in my opinion, gets to go around blasting people with impunity. She did this with her last girlfriend. She did this with JD. Nobody cared. She keeps getting work, even though she's a aggressively mediocre actress. It'd be interesting to see how this shakes out. I hope that you enjoyed this video. And if you did, make sure you leave a like on it. And there's a red subscribe button down below. Make sure you give that a click, and we'll talk to you again real soon. Huge shout out to this video's sponsor, Meta PCs. Now, I know you're not going to run out and quick buy a brand new computer just because I ran this ad, but what I would hope is that you'll keep Meta PCs in mind for a variety of reasons and use my promo code THEQUARTERING to save big at checkout. Look, Meta PCs offers custom configurations. It has insane parts availability. They're one of the few people I see out there with the brand new NVIDIA 3090 in stock and shipping. When you buy from them, they offer you build photos as they work along. When you receive your PC, it's ready to go out of the box. It's 100% US-based sales and support. And one of my favorite things, it's a veteran-owned business. Meta PCs is veteran-owned. One of Meta's owners has served in Afghanistan and Iraq and received a Purple Heart for his service. Meta also employs military veterans in the Meta Operations Center and also provides systems to veterans going back to school to help them re-enter the workforce all across the United States. Meta PCs also offers financing. Head on over to MetaPC at metapcs.com. Use code THEQUARTERING at checkout to save money and support my content. If nothing else, go configure a PC, build a little wish list, and when you're ready remember to use code THEQUARTERING at checkout at MetaPCs. I know I'll be getting myself a brand new one before the end of the year. Check out metapcs.com.